Now I turn over to Bob. Bob, Top Rank signed Josh back in January. Obviously, he was scheduled to come back in May, and COVID put a halt to that. But Bob, how excited are you to finally see Josh Taylor back in the ring almost 9 months after Top Rank signed him?
Well, I'm excited, but I'm also disappointed. I'm excited because it's great to see Josh back in the ring. I'm very disappointed because who would have believed that when we signed him, our people, our staff, myself, wouldn't be in attendance at his first fight under the Top Rank banner. But it is what it is. And in these times, we're just happy that the fight is going to be on. It's going to be shown on ESPN Plus, which has now grown to almost 15 million subscribers. And we know we'll get a tremendous number of fans watching in the United States and many, many fans as well watching in the UK on BT television. And so we're very excited that this fight is happening. And without counting our chickens before they hatch, if Josh is successful, as we've talked, next year we plan to have him face the other unified junior welterweight champion, Jose Ramirez, in what should be really one of the marquee fights of 2021.
Thank you, Bob. And before we get to questions, Ben Davison, you there, Ben?
I'm here.
There he is. So obviously, Ben, welcome. You've been training Josh in London. You were over in Las Vegas for a spell, and I believe you were in Marbella. So you've been 3 different countries. You've been training Josh. Obviously, he's been out of the ring for a while, but can you talk about sort of the benefit of having an extended training camp as you sort of get adapted to one another?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Josh is currently off of achieving what he's achieved, but it's amazing to think that he's achieved what he's achieved, but he's still relatively early in his career. So it's great to have been able to have some time to really implement those changes, and it's really starting to come together just at the perfect time. The little nuances that we've worked on, I'm starting to see Josh just doing without thinking, and that's what you're looking to achieve. So that'll all come together for Saturday night, that's for sure.
Thank you, Ben. And a reminder to everybody, if you'd like to ask a question, please click the raise hand mechanism in the Zoom, or send me a private message on the chat. So just please do that. As a reminder, since I'm getting a lot of questions, this whole press conference will be available on the Top Rank YouTube channel shortly after it concludes. And all the video channels, you can feel free to bite content from that for your own channels. Feel free to use it. So that should answer everybody's questions. And Bob, Josh, and Bob, all 3 will be available for questions. So ask a question of whomever you would like. So we are going to get started here with John Gretchen. I hope I pronounced that right, John. Please go ahead when ready.
It's creaking, but it's close enough. Hi, Josh. How you doing?
How you doing? Yeah, not bad. Yourself?
Good. Aye, no bad. Listen, you'll have never spent this long between fights before in your career. And so it's the time since the Progress fight. How have you been filling that time? How much does it affect you? I mean, apart from watching Cobra Kai, what have you been
doing? Watched a little bit of Cobra Kai and brushing up on my old karate, taekwondo skills, doing a little bit of practicing. But yeah, not much. It's actually been pretty good. It was probably my first real break from boxing since I turned professional, 5 years ago. It's just been fight after fight after camp, really just grinding it out and training all the time, and never really getting a bit of time off to relax and just chill out. So the first when we come back from Vegas, when I was training with Billy Joe and Ben out there when he was preparing for Canelo, we had to obviously come back. I got home, and I took like 2, 3, maybe almost a month, sort of just relaxing. just completely chilling out and switching off from boxing. Spent some real good time with my family, and my loved ones, that I never really got to spend before, So I just chilled out and forgot about boxing and recharged my batteries. And that was a pretty good time to sit and reflect and what I'd achieved in the sport in such short period of time. So I got a good sense of pride. It was the first time I ever got to sit back and sort of realise what I'd done. So after like 3-4 weeks of not really doing much at all, I got back into training, back hitting the roads, back in the gym. I built a gym out in my garage in the house. So I built a good state-of-the-art gym, lots of treadmills, weights, and a couple of bags in there, and all sorts of equipment. So I started get working out again, getting fit, and speaking to Ben, and during that time, and we figured out that during lockdown, Spain was still open for training. There was no really any restrictions. So we booked the first available flight from Britain over to Spain and trained over there for a good month, and then we come back here and straight into training. So we've been back here for the last 3 months. So it's been great. It's actually been worked out in my favour, I think. With the new coach and new setup that I've got, I've settled in really nice now, and I feel at home. And Ben and I are really clicking and getting on like a house on fire. It's the start of a really good friendship. So we're really happy with the way things are going, and I think it's actually worked out in my favour. Yeah.
Thank you, John. And my apologies for butchering your last name. I'm sure I'll do it again. So my apologies in advance. Also, next up, we go ahead to the Athletics' Sarah Shepard. Sarah, please unmute and ask when ready.
Thanks, guys. Hi, Josh. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Thank you. So this will be the first time in 16 pro fights, in your whole career, that there'll be someone new in your corner. Have you spoken to Ben about, the approach that you like to take in between rounds, or is that something that you kind of figure out as you go along on the night?
No, well, we've spent a hell of a lot of time in the gym together now. So and then sparring, we work on what we do, we train how we fight. We do everything. We do everything in the gym how we do on fight night. So on fight night, nothing's going to be any different. We've worked with each other long enough now to understand what I like and what I don't like, and what he likes and what he doesn't like. So it's not going to be an issue that at all. We're working in the gym and working with each other every day. So that's not going to be an issue at all.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm going to try to get to everybody's questions, but there's a long queue. So thank you, everybody, for raising your hands. We will go ahead next to Danny Flexen. Danny, please go ahead when ready. Danny Flexen, you're on. Going once.
Sorry, I was unmuted, but my video wasn't on. How you doing? Hi, Josh.
Hey, Danny. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good, thanks.
Good. Just wanted to ask about the recent addition to the gym of Lee McGregor, who's someone that you've worked with as a stablemate in the past several times. Has that kind of given you guys a bit of a boost? Are you even happier now in camp that you've got a friend with you?
Yeah, well, yeah, you've answered your own question there, Danny. Yeah, 100%. It's good to have one of my close friends in the gym with me again. As a stablemate. It's good having another fellow Scotsman in the gym, and a guy from the same city as well. So we're going through this journey together again, and we get to spend some good quality time in between training sessions and things like that, So, yeah, it's great. It's great for morale in the camp, and great for Lee as well. He's a great young and up-and-coming fighter himself. So it's great for him to be in the camp with myself, and learning from me and taking things on board and learning from me. So yeah, I think it's good for the two of us, really good for the two of us, and good for morale in camp for sure, 100%. Yeah, and I think Lee's going to go on and do great things in the sport. I think he's got big titles ahead of him. He's fighting he's already British and Commonwealth champion in only 9 fights. So he's now fighting for the European champion in his 10th fight. So he's got abundance of talent, and I think he's going to go ahead and do good things in the sport. So yeah, it's great having him in camp. Yeah, 100%, Danny.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much, Danny. Next, we go ahead to Jordan Elgott. Jordan, please go ahead.
Hi, Josh. Yeah, Jordan here from BBC Sports Scotland. I know you'll be totally focused on this fight on Saturday night. And I think since every fight, every interview, you've been asked about Jose Ramirez. Already we've had Bob mention him next year. But I think that's because he's the next big fight. That's what people view it as. But if we look on the other side for Appen and Konsong, this is his big fight. So how dangerous is that for you, his mentality going into this fight?
Yeah, it's very dangerous, and I've actually, said this a couple of times in a couple of other interviews that, it's his big chance to really change his life, not only to become world champion, but unified world champion, because he was getting the chance at 3 belts. He's getting the IBF, the WBA and the Ring magazine. So it's a massive opportunity to really change his life. I know what my mindset is, and especially when I was up and coming, it's just it's very dangerous. It's his massive chance. He'll be for sure bringing his A game, and he's relatively unknown. There's only limited footage of him as well, so it is dangerous. 100%. Especially if I switch off and think it's going to be a blowover fight and things like that. Because it's 100% not. It only takes one punch in boxing, and you've seen it happen in recent history a couple of times. So I've got my eyes firmly on the prize, and that's on Saturday. I'm not thinking about the next fights or the next whatever's happening next. It's all about Saturday and getting the job done and getting the job done well, and that's what I want to do.
Thank you. And then next we move on to Gareth A. Davies. Gareth, please shoot when ready.
Good afternoon, London calling here. Bob, hello. Josh, hello. Ben, hello. Evan, hello. Hello, Crystal. Good to see you not in swimwear today. I just wanted to. Crystal was in swimwear last time by a pool. I just wanted to ask, just to rewind a little bit. Muhammad Ali, Marvin Hagler, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Vasyl Lomachenko. You are with one of the legendary promoters now, Josh. Yeah. Can you just talk a little bit about that, about what it means to have that fire lit under you, to have the promotional genius? Bob's been around as long as the Ark, yeah? So what it means to have that promotional genius behind you and what that helps you with in camp and in your career.
Yeah, well, it was my first choice and when changing promoter, because I believe he's the best in the game. He's got the biggest platform in the business as well, and especially for myself to tap into my US sort of fan base. Bob is the man. Bob is the main man. He's got the biggest platform, the biggest viewerships, all the biggest fighters all under his banner. So this is the banner that I want to be with. All the best fighters that are even in and around my sort of way are with Bob. So it makes these fights dead easy to happen. It makes some fights really easy to happen. The boxing politics don't get in the way in terms of like other promoters and this and that and broadcasts and all this sort of carry on. The only thing that it really has to get discussed is where the fight's going to be, and that's it really. And it's pretty simple. And I'm hugely delighted to be part of this team. And the next chapter in my career is going to be even better than the first one. So I can't wait. I can't wait to get going. Yeah.
Am I allowed a very quick one for Bob, Ev, or not?
Yes, one more, of course, Gareth.
And Bob, Ken Buchanan was an Edinburgh guy. Josh has got a relationship going back in history with Ken Buchanan. Are you looking at Edinburgh potentially for that fight?
Yeah, I mean, Edinburgh is a beautiful, beautiful city. Josh and I were talking about the fact that it's, in effect, a university town. I've never done a fight in Edinburgh, although years ago I did a fight, I remember, in Glasgow. Glasgow is a little bit of a hard scrabble town compared to Edinburgh. But I'm looking forward to Edinburgh because a lot of the kids in the United States, my grandson, when they go abroad, a lot of them go to Edinburgh to do, university work and visit friends. So, yeah, I mean, And as far as Jose Ramirez is concerned, he said to me, he doesn't care where the fight is. Wherever it's economically best to do the fight, he's it for it. Whether it means him going to Scotland or to London or doing it back in the United States, wherever the fight makes the most sense, the fight will happen. Josh has, of course, a job to do on Saturday. That's a funny thing, Garrett. You got this Thai guy who looks like he's heavy-handed, but who has he really fought in his career? Most of his opponents are unknown to us, but he looks like he's a big puncher. So you have to watch out, and Josh will have his work cut out for him, and hopefully he'll be victorious, and then we can start planning the unification of the 4 titles.
Thank you, Gareth. Next we go to, from Scotland, Jamie Borthwick, who's got one question for Josh and then one question for Bob. Jamie, go ahead.
Yes, I'm going to pick straight up with Bob, if that's all right, actually, because it kind of comes off of that. Obviously, we are really excited to have Josh fight back in Edinburgh again soon and hopefully, bring a big title fight here. But let's be honest, Vegas is the center of the universe when it comes to boxing. Is Josh the sort of guy who can, be a star there, have his name in lights in Las Vegas and when he takes a title fight there?
Well, you understand, right now, if Josh fought in Las Vegas, maybe it wouldn't have a big impact. But if he fights Ramirez in Las Vegas, Ramirez has a tremendous Hispanic following. A lot of Scots would come over to Las Vegas, particularly once the coronavirus was a thing of the past, and it would be a massive fight. Yeah, and it's a great introduction to the American audience. His fight live in the United States against Ramirez. Boxing fans all saw his fight with Prograis, and so boxing writers in the United States and so forth put him in the top category of pound for pound fighters. But again, whether the fight's in the United States, in Las Vegas, or it's in Scotland, it's going to be a great, great fight. And let's just hope everything goes well on Saturday. So it becomes a reality.
So just quickly then, Josh, it must put a fire under you when you hear, talk about where you're going to fight these huge fights. But you've talked about no complacency that, that must play into it. You can't get to these places without taking care of business just now.
Yeah, 100%. Every fight is important as the last one. It's I'm not looking forward past this guy at all. I don't know. Everybody keeps saying next and inspecting this, but I think I'm the only person that's not looking past him. Myself and my team and Ben, we're not looking past him. We're fully concentrated on him because we can't afford no slip ups. We're at the final hurdle of these big fights that I've always dreamed of. So yeah, I'm not looking forward past this guy at all, not one bit. So my mind is fully focused on this job.
Thank you, Jamie. And next we move on to somebody that, Josh, you'll be meeting very soon, ESPN's own Bernardo Osuna. Bernardo, go ahead.
Hey, Josh. Good to meet you over this medium at least for now. Looking forward to actually having you in front of us and having these conversations in the lead up to whatever fight comes next. But I'll be calling the fight on Saturday here in the United States on ESPN+. And I'm really interested to know, and this question is for you and Ben Davison, what have you guys specifically been working on? Because when we look at that amazing fight that you had with Regis Prograis, you were able to bully the bully and really do some different things in the ring. But I know that there was some concern in terms of developing defensively footwork. What have you and Ben been working on specifically for this fight to turn you into that complete fighter that you can be?
Well, that's when you'll need just need to wait on Saturday and see. We've been working on a lot of things. It's not just one thing. We've been working on loads of things. Just brushing up on the skills that I already have. And making my strengths even stronger and making my weaknesses a little bit stronger as well. But we're working sort of in all areas. We're working on improving in all areas. So you'll see on Saturday that what we've been working on and what we've kind of been trying to do and achieve in recent times, so you'll see that on Saturday, and it'll be a good performance. I feel I'm going to put on a good performance.
I ask Ben a question.
Yep.
Ben, so you saw what Josh could do on tape, maybe even in person before. What surprised you the most about what he's capable of doing in the gym, the way he picks things up, and probably his IQ?
The biggest thing that actually impressed me is actually the way he sets himself goals. Someone that's achieved what he's achieved in just 16 fights. He become world champion, wanted to become unified world champion, achieved that. Now he wants to be undisputed, and he just keeps setting himself new goals and new goals and new goals. And that for me is something that often a lot of fighters lack when they get to the top level. You don't really see fighters. And a big part of it is believing in themselves, and Josh believes in himself, and that's a key trait to have if you really want to keep going on and achieving more in the sport like Josh does.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Josh. Next, we go over to Jake Donovan from Boxing Scene. Jake, you should be unmuted. Go ahead, sir.
Great. Thanks, Evan. Hey, Josh, I wanted to ask, because I know you're not looking past Conson this weekend. I just wanted to know, what are some of the things you believe that he does well that maybe some of the fans who aren't familiar with him or perhaps overlooking?
He's got good timing. He's got kind of an unorthodox kind of unrhythmic bounce. But he's good at luring his opponents in. On top of that, at the back of that, they think he's not ready to punch or in position to punch. And then he springs an attack when they come in to go attack him and see if he's not in punching position. So he's very got good timing, on the unorthodox kind of rhythm, and punches through the target, and looks like he's sort of heavy-handed. He's got the same record as me, but one more knockout, and it looks like he punches through the target and is quite heavy-handed. So we're fully prepared for Saturday, and we're expecting a tough fight, and a guy that's going to have good explosive power in front of him, and a hungry guy. So we think it's going to be quite tough going, especially early doors. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes on Saturday. But I think ultimately, I don't think it's going to have nothing that I've not seen before. But we just need to wait until that first bell rings.